Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of The Perspective, and I'm your host Aamna Khan. And today we have with us here Mr. Asim Zeeshan, who's the head of engineering department here at Invozone. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you so very much for having me here.
Sir, it's very nice to see you. Today's topic is leadership in the 21st century, skills and qualities of success. And before we move on to this, I would like you to give us a brief introduction of yourself, your experience as a leader in the industry.
All right. First of all, thank you so very much for the opportunity. I talk a lot, but
that's why you're
sitting
here.
in this kind of environment and
Yes.
giving me this opportunity. So I actually started my career way back about approximately 2.5 decades ago. So I started off as a developer. Then there were a couple of other phases down the road as a team lead, as a manager. I've been managing cross-functional teams and moving on into the DevOps world as well. And this is, it has been quite a long journey to here, to Invozone. And so
Right.
far I'm loving it.
Right. So, what are the traits that you believe are important for a leader?
Well, one of the main things that I've actually discovered over time is that being a leader is not as easy as it sounds because there are few things that you need to be very focused on. And one of them is that you have to be a visionary. You need to see the bigger picture. The
Yes.
second thing that I've always come across is you need to be updated with the industry. If you're not updated, if you do not have the up-to-date information, you're not going to make good decisions. One of the other challenges that I've always faced, and I also discussed with my fellows, is that they are not decisive. So if there is a decision that they need to make, they tend to not make a decision or draw some hard lines. So sometimes you have to draw hard lines. Sometimes you have to welcome the feedback, and everybody's pouring in their feedback, and then you have to decide which way should I go.
Yeah. So, you're absolutely right. And one of the challenges that adds on to this is managing people of different backgrounds, different personalities. How do you feel you adapt your leadership style based on the individuals that you're working with?
Well, if like in software development, that can be a very complex example, some sort of a scenario, but you have to break it down into very small and tiny things. So with people, it's approximately the same thing. I mean, you have to see the fine lines, what they are as a person. You have to. This is an exercise that I do. That is that I make some sort of profiles for different people. It's not that the other kind of profiling, but profile. So I know which one, if I'm going to request something, or if I'm going to give him a task, it can be one of the project managers or developers or something like that, but they would be more willing to work on a challenging task rather than a repetitive one. But the other ones, they may want to more, they would be more inclined towards working on something that is repetitive.
Yeah. Continue.
Please.
Okay, yes. So what I was going to add on to that was that all of that requires a lot of strategic thinking.
Yes.
Just planning and foreshadowing and then looking at the future, all of that. How do you take up all of that and, also balance, that outlook of being like a positive and, basically avoiding micromanaging at the same time? How do you do that?
One of the key thing in leadership is that you have to empower people. If I am working with a dozen managers and I'm trying to macromanage them, so there are two things that are going to happen. One, I'm going to burn myself.
Yeah.
And second, I'm never going to try to improve or empower or bring to light the kind of leadership skills that the people that I'm working with, they have. So you have to empower people. You have to trust in the system. You have to give them an area, comfortable area where they can play, they can exercise something.
Yeah.
And if it's not the point of no return. As they say, it's not the point of no return, but it's kind of a healthy area where they can experiment with something. They can experiment their leadership skills, and if there is some guidance needed, I can be there. But I would want them to try it first.
Definitely. Do you think that with empowering employees, there's a very important aspect of healthy competition that we need to foster in the corporate world?
Obviously. So competition comes where you have the same set of tasks divided among different teams. So for example, if there is a cross-functional team and they have the same kind of a goal for, say, a project or a module or something like that, I do understand that we have to have some sort of a competition, but the competition has to be in one field. So, for example, if I'm going to have some sort of a competition between a marketing field and an engineering one, probably it's not going to work.
Definitely
Right?
not. Yes.
This is counterproductive.
But how would you create that culture of healthy competition and innovation within a company that is literally named after innovation? How do we keep that healthy competition alive without, people becoming maybe a little agile?
Yes, I mean, agile, I do understand the terminologies and the context that agile is being used in a lot of different things. What I believe is that you need to be innovative in the way that you're functioning.
Yes.
If we as an organization are going to copy, something, I'm not just saying that, we're doing that. But the thing is, if we are going to just copy somebody's model,
Yeah.
we're not innovating anything. We're just, the same thing rebranded as something else.
Yeah.
We need to be innovative at the core of the engine. The core of the engine is the way that we are dealing with people, the way we are handling different situations, the way we are giving them opportunities to grow. So there are a lot of things that we can do. I mean, it's not just
Definitely.
just
Yes.
copying some working model, already proven model, and then just going from there.
Definitely. And how do we use this to empower our PMs? You have excellent leadership skills, you have the experience, right? And
Thank you for the compliments.
yes, of course, sir. So, how do you train or guide the project managers working below you to execute and exercise the same techniques that you are within their teams?
So, not a lot of people know. I mean, except the CEO, not a lot of people know. But I have an advisory board. So what I do is, I pick people, I bring them to a certain level. I try to polish their skills. But then there is an advisory board. So the advisory board is comprised of a lot of managers. So what I do is, if there is a problem, I know how to fix that problem. But what happens if I say decide to go on a vacation, right? So maybe somebody else will have to jump in, and maybe they would not be able to execute it, or they would not have the entire perspective in place, right? They would be bringing in their own unique, taste to that particular thing, or their
Yes.
own unique touch. But the thing is, I'm actually trying to foster a kind of an environment where I'm putting a problem in front of them, and then we all are discussing that problem. What is that problem? How to best deal with that? What are the different scenarios? What would be the outcome of those scenarios? And then based on that, we democratically select the best solution. Then we implement it, we try it out, and then we say, okay, maybe we failed, maybe we need to go with some other
A different
manager's
idea.
opinion.
Yeah.
So this is what we do, and this is kind of a healthy environment where everybody is
Yes.
putting in their creative abilities, and at the same time, I'm not micromanagement. I hate micromanagement.
Yeah, and it's creating that environment of collaboration where
Yes,
everybody
yes,
feels understood and heard. That's
yes,
very important. With a spike in the hybrid culture, people working from home and working from the office,
yes.
how do you manage to execute the same ideas that we just discussed right now for people working from home?
Well, working from home should not be a challenge, but as it happens that you have a routine. So I read somewhere that it's not it does not really matter if you get up and do breakfast at 8 a.m. every morning. The only important thing is that you're bringing some sort of order in your life, right? So with a work from home culture, one of the major challenges is bringing in order.
Yes.
So if there is a stand up at say 11 and people are missing it, that's fine. We're addressing them. Please be available or something like that. We have a lot of, as you already know, that we have a lot of people that are working from remote areas, right? So they are working from between two centers. So they cannot actually go to the Islamabad center or to the Lahore center because they're working somewhere from Jhelum. And this has been a beauty of Invozone, the culture, and
Yes.
the recruitment process as well. So irrespective of the bigger cities or wherever you're living in, we are selecting the best talent. The thing is, we need to bring in order. So this has always been a challenge, but with a couple of small tweaks, if we have some sort of a reminder in the start, if we tell them uh, how to finish your stuff at the right time, how to get up and be available at 11 a.m. because that is a very important meeting. If we can, maybe ask them to turn on the webcams.
Yeah.
That these are very small things, and for some people, it would seem that we're trying to dictate their way of work from home life. But the thing is that it brings a lot of order. So I mean, if somebody asks me to turn on the webcam, I'll probably brush my hair.
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking. So maybe I'll dress up better.
Yeah.
I would not be in a sleeping mode. I
Yeah.
would see what I'm going to. I would know what the kind of a meeting is. What are the updates that I'm going to give? What are the things that I have to work on today? Maybe what is on my plate for tomorrow? What are the blockers? What do I need to discuss and collaborate with the
Yes.
team? So you need to bring a little order, and then work from home is a very amazing thing.
And don't you think that is why we get into corporate world anyways, for that order and for that
Yes,
collaboration,
yes,
and
yes.
that's the beauty of it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
With all of this going on, how do you keep up with your own learning and advancement in your career and knowledge?
That is a very excellent question, because I've been asked this question so many times. So there is I'm actually involved in a lot of physical meetings in the office, and what I do is, towards the end of the day, I'm more just wrapping things up, and there is one or two meetings, and those are probably with the CEO or with Maria Tanvir or something like that, right? So these are my regular scheduled meetings. So what I do at the end is, my kids keep asking me the same question. They're like, you're done with your work. Why are you still here? And I'm like, I'm just trying to explore something new. So I explored something new. So for example, last night I explored that, there is a complete scripting background behind, say, a very popular platform, right? I did not knew that. So I tried something new. I created a monster of my own, and then I slayed the monster, right? So this is what you do. Nobody is actually asking me to do something. I have to explore the platforms, because if I explore the platforms, if I explore all of those technologies, I would be in a better position to advise to people that these are the things that are in the trend right now. Or maybe I can go in a discussion with the customer, and I can pitch him something brand new. Or maybe if he already has something brand new, I can tell him that maybe this is a better approach that you've already selected, or maybe there is an even better approach that is now in the market, and we can probably work on that. So keeping updated is kind of a challenge, but you have to manage it from outside your office hours. That is the
Yes.
big challenge.
Yeah, I agree. So, just to summarize everything that we've discussed today, if you could define your leadership style or skill, your superpower as a leader in one word, what would it be?
Okay, that is going to be a tricky question. But the thing is, um, if I have to break down my leadership style, there are only a couple of things that I do. One, I listen. I know I talk a lot, but I do listen. So I listen. I give them a healthy environment where they can express themselves, where it's kind of a very free environment. If they want to try something out, I let them try that. I empower them. I appreciate them.
That's
So
a
I
lot of
believe
words.
appreciating employees.
Yes.
I've seen people being tagged or being labeled as average employer, and when I've actually sort of empowered them and encouraged them, they've came out very beautifully.
I think that's the most important part. You
Yes.
need to sometimes help your team member realize how much potential they have, because they can't do that on their own.
Yes.
Before we wrap up today's session, we would like to have some rapid fire questions here. Okay, so the first one is, if you could invent a new holiday, what would it be called and how would it be celebrated?
I would probably call it unwinding, right? And it would be probably somewhere off grid, no internet, no phone coverage, kind of a comfortable environment where everybody can just sit together.
If you were
Thank you.
stranded on a deserted island and could only have 3 items with you, what would they be?
Spotify, maybe something from my toolbox, and a hammock. Yes.
Great. Okay, what's the most unusual talent or skill that you possess?
I can stay up until 7 a.m. in the morning, and I'm just, trying to slay the dragon.
I mean, I would conclude that as being passionate and curious, and that's a very important thing to continue growing within this corporate world and otherwise as well. Thank you, Sir Asim Zeeshan, for joining us today at this interview, and thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next episode.